podcasts are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Two Cops One Donut, its host, or affiliates. The podcast is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. We do not endorse any guests' opinions or actions discussed during the show. Any content provided by guests is of their own volition, and listeners are encouraged to form their own opinions. Furthermore, some content is graphic and has harsh language. Viewer discretion advised and is intended for mature audiences. Two Cops One Donut and its host do not accept any liability for statements or actions taken by guests. Thank you for listening. What is going on? Good morning. I'm bored. I've been finding now that I'm working day shift that I have these moments in the mornings where my wife's at work, kids are still sleeping. It's 9 a.m. where I'm at, 9:12 right now. And yes, my kids are still asleep. That's what teenagers do. According to my nurse wife, they require more sleep because they're growing and learning and all that stuff, whatever. I was the same kid. I slept until like noon. Oh, yep. And I'm enjoying some Black Rifle coffee. In the house, it's labeled D's Nuts. I don't know why my wife labeled my coffee D's Nuts, but it's hazelnut. So I highly recommend Black Rifle. They're not a sponsor by any means, but jumping on, let me go over here and look at the chat. Got a new little setup that I've been wanting to practice with. So if you guys see some strange lighting and you see kind of a weird setup, I just moved shit around in the studio, and I am looking up at my TV right now. So I'm on my laptop. I'm not on actually my PC, which is what I usually do the live stuff from. And so if I share videos or I want to see the chat and all that stuff, it's just a different location for me. I just change things up, guys. That's how you do life. Just change things up. Let me make sure that the chat is working. Checking chat. And it went through, and it went through to Facebook. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. I'm looking over at the grams right now. I see a bunch of people jumping on, jumping off. They're like, why is this guy on so early? I get it. I'm just curious how the playback's going to be when I want to share the screen. So I'm going to check that out real quick. What is this? Google Chrome is requesting to bypass the system private window picker and access the screen and allow audio. Well, yeah, let's allow that. That always makes it weird. Let's see. See if this lets me share. Hey, it does. What do you know? What different views can we do here? Let's see, shall we? Let's go with this guy. I wish that showed over to the side just a little bit more. Let's try. Okay. My mom, I thought you were still in bed. I'm on the patio. Nope, just wanted to get a chance to test out the new setup. See how this goes. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Oh, he's not even on duty either.
I don't know what to do. I don't want to. Oh! Oh, shoot! Oh!
So on this one of the things that was brought up was like, oh, he's not even on duty. Well, I don't understand what makes you think he's not on duty. His lights are on. It's a police car. Maybe he's not dressed like a cop. It's hard to tell from here. That was one of the things that I wanted to bring up on talking about this. And people were saying that it's not Alexander's fellow law enforcement officer from Holland. What's up, brother? Holland, Michigan? I don't think that's what he's referring to. Just looking through the comments, seeing what everybody's up to. But no, for some reason, G Quintero said, you gonna watch that? Oh, that game, the game. So I guess I don't understand what the thought is on why you wouldn't think that this is a a cop that's on duty, other than maybe he's not dressed just like a uniformed officer. But that's me being a cop for so long that I just take for granted that people, if they don't see somebody in a fully marked uniform, maybe that's why. Girl with camera 143, hi from Tucson. What's up? So maybe that's it. Maybe that's what it is. Chaplain Campbell's in the house. He said, happy belated Thanksgiving, everybody. Netherlands, Holland, Netherlands. Yeah. I heard it's beautiful out there. But the point being is, yes, this person was definitely on duty. If they're engaging their lights and they were off duty, they just became on duty. That's how that works. So if you're a cop that has a take-home car or does any of that, as soon as you step in to start doing law enforcement actions and you're representing yourself as a peace officer, guess what? You're now officially on duty. At least that's how it works where I'm at. So to answer that question, yes, you are on duty when you start doing law enforcement capacity stuff like this. And in this one, he decides to throw some stop sticks. Now, he may have been a little bit behind the curve. And I want to emphasize the proper way, the way that, at least that I know that everybody's trained in the way that they should be trained on this, in my opinion, is you should have already thrown those stop sticks all the way across the road. They should have been up over the curb, in my opinion. And then you pull out that string, get it just taut, so there's no slack in it. And then you wait for that car to come up. And all he's going to see, if you're doing it right, is just that cop car sitting there. I would hope you at least use your car for cover, even though that's not cover. But just to put some sort of barrier between you and that person. But the point being is you get it over the curb on the other side, because then they can't see it at all. And you pull it into their way versus trying to throw it into their way. That's how that works. Tasker 6669 said, hi, people forget off-duty doesn't matter when it's regarding how the law and judges rule on it. That's true. Good morning, Deborah Bond out in Jacksonville, Florida. Lacey said, honesty. I don't know what we're talking about. Honesty about what? Or does she just mean honest? But yeah, so that's how the stop sticks should work. You should be pulling them into the target, not throwing them out to them, because you leave yourself exposed and vulnerable when you got to throw. Unless you're throwing from behind true cover, like you should be doing. You should be throwing from behind like a concrete Jersey barrier or a bridge pillar or something that if the car hits it, it's not going to go through and get to you. If you get behind your own car, you're still putting yourself at a big risk. So Mr. Billfold in the house. What's up, Mr. Billfold? Jason Gaudet. See, this is much easier for me to track watching on the TV here. It's much easier for me to track when people are talking on Instagram and when they're talking on everything else, because my Restream program is what I use. It's kind of like StreamYard and all that stuff that's out there. So what Restream does is it allows everybody's chat to show up on one platform except for Instagram. I don't know why. Instagram putting the block on that, because even I think some of Facebook even shows up. I have 3 Facebook pages. We have the group page, the Two Cops One Donut personal page, which is stupid, and then our business page, which is our main page. And for some reason, it doesn't show all of the Facebook messages, but it is what it is. No technology is perfect yet. So anyway, going back to this situation, car wrecks out, goes around the stop sticks. Luckily, didn't go at the officer. We actually had an officer on the podcast named Matt Brazil, and he did this very thing, stolen vehicle, and threw stop sticks out, and that bad guy decided to plow through him. Basically, almost ripped his leg completely off. Had it not been for another officer that was a prior Marine, I know you can't call them former Marines, that was a Marine, and came over and basically just stuck his finger in his, what is the one in the leg? The femoral? stuck his finger in the femoral artery, saved his life. And now Matt, after lots and lots and lots and lots of surgeries, I think he's in like the 70s as far as the number of surgeries he's had. He's back. He's back working finally. It's been a long road for that guy. And I tease him all the time about videos like this. I'm like, see, this is like when it's successful. I'm like, see, this is how you throw stop sticks. We have a sick sense of humor though. So constantly getting on him. But as far as this officer goes, this is not how you want to do it. I get it. You get out there, you get excited, but damn it, play safer. You got lucky. You got lucky. The bad guy decided he didn't want to kill you. But then he ended up wrecking into this thing. And so then the question gets posed. Do you guys believe that, how do I stop sharing this damn screen here? Do you guys believe that cops should be using stop sticks? Stop sticks, by the way, they don't make your tires pop. Some people think that they just explode. That's not what they do. It's actually a hollowed out like porcupine needle. It's kind of like what it is, much bigger, obviously, and it releases the air controlled. So it's pretty neat technology how it works to prevent the tire from just blowing out, and wrecking. Tasker said, I'm following an auditor who is transitioning from California to Idaho. Idaho law enforcement doesn't look like they seem to understand how they should handle an auditor. Well, good. It sounds like they need some auditors out there. Somebody's got to be the example. If you don't want to learn the law, somebody's got to be made the example. Damn, my coffee's hot. And if you don't want to learn from channels like mine, channels like Izzo, channels like Matt Thornton, channels like Copville, channels like Antihero, let's see, Donut Shop. There's another one. If you don't want to learn from those channels, there's a lot of cops out here that we see the writing on the wall. We understand the mission. We understand why it's necessary because cops keep screwing it up. So if you don't understand, then you're going to be made a valuable training video for some departments around you and hopefully across the country. Drop the two-party system said this is a little early. It is. I didn't have anything going on. I'm going to have to make some videos to post later on, some reels and stuff. And by the time I do that, I try to get a video out by 11, and then I try to get another one out by 3 p.m., and then I try to get one more out by 6. On a good day, I will get 3 videos. On a normal day, I get 1, and on an better than all right day, I get 2. So, is what it is. I kept seeing you guys write GM something on the chat, and it took me forever to figure out you guys are talking about good morning. I'm like, General Manager Harrison, General Manager Mr. B. I'm an idiot. Looking at the Instagram chats, nothing really going on. I don't understand Instagram. I'm going to say this every time. I basically do these morning chats in this vertical format just for Instagram because it has our biggest following. So I'm like, well, that's who we should try to give a little more love to, is where we got the bigger following. But you just don't get the love on the lives. It's YouTube and Facebook do really well. LinkedIn does really well. Jason Connolly, 1981, said, police need to understand that no matter what they do or how they do their job, somebody will be butthurt. Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. So I got in this debate the other day about tickets. I am not a ticket cop. I'm not, you guys know me. I don't really, it's not that I don't believe in writing tickets. I do think that they have their time and place. It's just, that's not how I choose to focus my law enforcement. When I was out in patrol, I wasn't out running traffic or doing anything like that. I was looking for violent felons. Like that's what I wanted to go after, was the violent stuff, the stuff that has a huge impact on people's lives. So writing tickets, for every person that hates a ticket being written, there's 5 more Karens and Darrens lined up that want cops out there writing tickets and will go to town hall meetings and like, you guys don't do any traffic enforcement here. They're running stop signs through our neighborhood, flying around. They're doing this, they're doing that. For every one of you guys that say cops shouldn't be out, gaining revenue for the city and doing all that stuff, which Don't get me wrong. I believe in part of what you're saying. There are double, triple the amounts of people that want and demand their cops out doing that. So that's something to consider. Now, again, this all depends on where you live. There may be others, but I will tell you in where I'm at, that's the case. There are more people pushing for more traffic enforcement than people that are not. Something to consider. But yeah, Jason, you're right. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Doesn't matter. Somebody's going to complain about something. Lacey said, "Why don't cops use the net grab thing like a net gun? Seems to work very well, very safely." I think what you're talking about is the grappler. If we're talking about during pursuits, I think it's catching on. I know it's been around a while and a lot longer than I knew, and I think the internet is finally like pushing it more. Excuse me, pushing it more. So by them doing that, it's getting more popular amongst departments. I love it. I think it's a cool thing. I wish I just like having that option. I like having that option. So, drop the two-party system. I'm a senior engineer, not a general manager. That's true. True. More Karens and Darrens for sure from now on 11/27. If they were patrolling in the right areas, it wouldn't be so bad. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. You could patrol in the highest crime areas. It doesn't stop crime. It doesn't stop crime. I know it makes people feel good, and this is going to be a controversial point of view that I'm going to give you, but having 50 patrol cars out there versus having 25 two-man units, I think the 25 two-man units will do more work for the city than 50 single car units out there. And having 50 single car units out there, sure, it makes the public feel good because they see a lot more cops. But criminals, real criminals, I have video. You guys remember, I used to be a property crimes guy. We have video after video after video of guys doing hit and licks, doing BMVs, burglary of motor vehicles. They will watch a cop car go by. They'll duck down, hide, do whatever they do, act nonchalant like they weren't doing shit. Once that car goes by, they give it a few minutes, and they're right back to stealing, breaking into cars. So I'm glad you get the warm feels, but more patrol doesn't do shit. It doesn't. Now, it helps if it's static and if it's in high dense areas, like static police movements at games, stadium games, bars, stuff like that. That helps. It does quell things, and it is cool to have somebody right there to respond. But having cops just roaming around patrolling doesn't. I'm sorry. I know it feels good, but it doesn't help. Ma Tuliet, I'm guessing how to say your name. I'm new to your chat, and I support law enforcement. What made you decide to go into it? I hated cops. I did not like cops growing up, not in Flint. But then I also again, it's a double-edged sword, just like being a cop. I had a lot of family that were either in law enforcement, first responder world, military. So I wanted my family to respect and be proud of what I did. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I always said I wanted to be in law enforcement or military, something like that. I think when I started getting into my teens, truth be told, I wanted to be a damn baseball player. That was my dream. I wanted to be a pitcher for the Tigers. And it didn't happen, obviously. But, life has a way of being great hindsight. And looking back now, I'm glad that didn't happen. I think I would have had a very, it would have been fun, but not fulfilling. I think being a cop has been very fulfilling to me. So this is a good question. But yeah, there's one of the things that made me want to be a cop was, family. The other thing that there's a bunch of factors. Another thing that made me want to be a cop. My grandfather was a firefighter, and I knew I didn't want to do that because of all the bad things that he saw. And then lo and behold, here I am as a cop, probably seeing more worse stuff more often. So, But yeah, I had some bad interactions with cops as a kid that just made me not like them. And then, my dad said you can either be a part of the problem, part of the solution. He was a cop down in Texas, and I lived with my mom. And so I don't know, that stuck with me. And then when I started getting older, a little more mature, just went for it. And no regrets. I can hear my dogs fighting in the backyard. Drop the two-party system said, I think that Matt Thornton does outside of LEO work, helps reduce crime more. Yes. Oh, that's a fucking great point. That is a great point. Yeah. If you want to help reduce crime, get out there and talk to people that are in that world. And like what Matt Thornton does with his nonprofit is he goes out and deals with troubled young men. I don't know if he does men and women or girls and boys. I don't know if it's the all encompassing. It's gang stuff. He helps out the gang youth and the kids that are really vulnerable. They don't have necessarily the parenting in their life and whatnot. Yes, I truly believe that does a lot more to help with crime, for sure. And I think, and this is my way of trying to help with crime and stuff, and try to get cops to not either unintentionally or unintentionally commit crimes with violating people's rights. And educate the public, because the public will try to use cops as pawns and they don't realize they're doing it. I don't think they truly realize that's what they're doing. The First Amendment audit stuff's the easiest. They're filming outside your bank and you're calling the cops and you want something done. Like, you need to understand the Constitution and the law just as much as the cops need to. So I think that's what we're doing with this. It's just another way of trying to help and do things in a different way. Let me go make sure I didn't miss any more chats. Big Bizzo, I think that's his name. Big Bizzo 34. He said, it's too profitable to stop crime. It employs too many people. In a way, trust me as a cop, if I could stop crime, you're always going to need cops. If you believe that cops aren't needed at all, well, that's been proven completely a train wreck. Look at that little fake city they tried to make in Chaz, where people were getting, SA'd and all sorts of crazy nonsense, and then defund the police in cities. They're all reversed that. Now they're like, no, actually, we probably need to give them more money. So if you're on that extremist belief that cops aren't needed at all, well, there's really not a conversation you are going to have that are going to meet in the middle anywhere. But if you do believe police are needed in some capacity, well, then we have common ground we can get down on. So like what Biz is saying is, that crime is profitable. Well, it's profitable for criminals. And yes, there is a profit to be made for cities that have to pay for their departments, have to pay for a lot of stuff. So yeah, I see it both ways. It's not a mutually exclusive thing, but there's also a need to stop crime. So yeah. And in the laws, that's where citizens need to make sure they're standing up and voting for the laws they want and getting laws that are made that they think are corrupt knocked back down. The power truly is in the people. They just got to unite. That's the hard part. I can't get you fuckers to unite just on a social media chat online here. Think of how hard it is to get citizens in one city to do it. Pallets Ready. I like that name. Ways to help people and better training to understand everyone not the same. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, training is always a good thing. Big Bizzo 34, he says, I've been a cop for 24 years and I thought I was making a difference until you go to court and see these attorneys and know the judge. Right, bro. Right? Oh, I try to say this all the time. I love the accountability for cops. I love that people push for that. And it's always ticked that way. If you guys think about it historically, let's just go back to Rodney King. Like, you guys wanted in-car dash cameras. Boom, because of Rodney King, it happened. You guys, fast forward to Michael Brown. Even though it was a false narrative and it turns out the story was bullshit, a really good push happened for body cams out of that. So then we get body cameras. You guys said that just us having a gun was too limited of options. So what did we get? We got tasers, we got pepper spray, we got batons, all these less than lethal options. So every time you guys push and you say you want your cops this, that, it happens. So things are getting better always with police work. But you know what the public doesn't outcry for nearly enough? It's checks and balances with prosecutors and judges. I have seen more ego and more bullshit rulings from judges that They don't like what you're wearing. They don't like that you rolled your eyes. They don't like, and all of a sudden they can throw you in jail. Come on now. Like that is a crazy power. And then cases getting dismissed because the DA is like, nah, I'm not going to prosecute this one. Like the discretion they have on certain things. Who's checking that stuff? It's crazy. It is crazy. Ops 4 Slayer. Op 4 Slayer. I like that name too, because in the military, every time you play the bad guy, you're Op 4. The opposing force. That's what it really stands for. Playing Op 4 in military games is a blast. It's like ultimate hide and go seek with toys that hurt. So it's fun. And yeah, even though I'm Air Force, I got to do that stuff. I'm in one of the very few true military sides of the Air Force. I'm security forces. We're the dumped on infantry for the Air Force. Let's see here. What needs to change is not only the accountability of us, LEOs, but those judges and lawyers. Yeah, see, look, you guys have other cops on here all saying the same shit. And for those that are over on Facebook and YouTube, you're like, where's he reading these comments from? These ones are coming from Instagram. So I'm jumping on Instagram as well. I'm going back. Oh, look at you trying to, this son of a bitch. I got to ban somebody out of my Twitch. He's over here trying to, there you go. He's over here trying to spam stuff. My opinion, Tasker, okay, I went way back. So in my opinion, the number one priority to combat everyday crime should be lower the recidivism rate. Yep, that's a good one too. People, for those that don't know what recidivism is that's just repeat offenders, trying to lower repeat offenders, going right back into the system. With justice delivered, focus on reintegration than punishment. Yep, I agree. Lacey said the way to lower crime is to stop it yourself. Yeah, that helps. Community engagement. I like it. I will never bash on the public trying to help. If people do not tolerate crime, crime goes somewhere else. That's true. It will relocate. Good morning, Chief Turner, Ozark Mountain Ranch Rangers. Thank you for what you do for the community. Thank you, buddy. Uncle Fatty, Unity, UNITY. Come on, go a little old school. As one stands together. Was that Queen Latifah that sang that? I don't remember. Mr. Billfold, we need cops to know their jobs well enough to educate Karens who try to weaponize them instead of just flexing their authority. Bam! That's the big one right there. Educate. I've said this a million times. One of the ways that I love to handle like First Amendment auditing things when Karens call in is I take that opportunity to say, okay, describe for me what they're doing. After they tell me, okay, well, what you're saying is not against the law. I want to let you know that it is a First Amendment right. We do have a Supreme Court case ruling that says that people can videotape like this. And when they do that, that's all they're doing is just flexing their First Amendment right. I understand why it feels intrusive. I'm not blaming you for feeling that way. But just because we don't like it doesn't mean it's illegal. So you take the time to and show them like they can do this from any public place. Boom. You've taken the time, you educate a little bit, and now they learn, and hopefully they don't call back and everybody around them in their little network gets the message. Lacey said cops who know the job are okay, but they are few in my experience. I don't think there's few. It's just a lot of them are really bad at explaining it. I think that's a part of it. They just don't want to explain because they can't. Like me, I always use myself as an example. Like there's times where I know you broke the law. I just don't know which law specifically it is. Like when I first got into property crimes, if you've got 3 credit cards or more, I think maybe it's 2 or more credit cards that don't belong to you. I know that that's a crime. I just didn't know which one it was. I had to look it up. So, and if he would have put me on, what am I being arrested for? I would have been able to tell you. I don't know what it is. I got to look it up. I know it's against the law, but I can't explain it. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. My mom said that's a huge part of the problem. Citizens get on social media and blame LEOs for everything instead of using their brain and common sense by going to the proper and the only ones that can change the law. Judges and prosecutors are equally bad. Totally agree on the justice system from Greg Turner. Need to do better. Heather Starr says, what's up? How's your morning? It's going all right. Mr. Billfold, we fool ourselves into thinking we can legislate behavior. Nah, you're just negative. I'm positive. You can legislate behavior, baby. Come on. Uncle Fatty, body blue, raised arm. Oh, can't fix stupid. This is true. That is true. Ario Bohm, there's never been a Supreme Court ruling that the right to record in public. Most circuits have recognized the right to record in public. I don't think that's right, but let me see. Let's see what the Googles has to say. Supreme Court ruling on film. Do they still use the word? Nope, you are right. It isn't a Supreme Court. It is circuit. Well, fuck me. I thought it was Supreme. Point being, there's court rulings that say the First Amendment right. Thank you, Bohm. I was wrong. I fucked that up. I thought for sure that it was a Supreme Court ruling. I was wrong. But there are circuit courts. Yeah. Deborah Bond, I wouldn't expect the police to know every law out there by heart. There's so many, it's impossible to know everyone. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other freaking crazy part is there are lawyers and judges, right? That they went to school for this, and this is what they do every day. They don't even know all the laws. And the ones that they're practicing, the lawyers are practicing, they're usually specialists, kind of like how a doctor is a specialist. And even a prosecutor, they have to look up the laws and figure out how they're going to argue in the favor of the defendant doing said crime. So they're having to know. There's very few that they know by heart. Mr. Billfold said, I don't actually think cops are meant to prevent crime. They respond to crimes. More often, school programs would be more effective in preventing crime. Crime is profitable for the justice system. Yep, I think you're right. Going over to our Instagrams, make sure I didn't miss anything. This country is soft on crime. There should be more harsh penalties. We got to be careful because when we start getting too harsh, we start to overlook too. We start to overlook, and then we get guys like Bruce Bryan. You know, speaking of, Bruce and I we're in the chats behind the scenes. We're thinking about making a kind of a Life Behind Bars type movie or show, not movie. We want to talk about people that have been in his situation and what it was like in that transition, because your personality's got to change when you go to prison. So in that transition of what he did, because he hit the ground running on self-improvement. He's a different breed. He's like David Goggins of going to prison. So he just had a different mindset. And I would love to talk about that with him. And then I would love for him to talk to other people that have gone through their situations that are similar to his and see how they handled it. Were they bitter? Like I would assume most people are pretty just full of hate and bitterness. I would be. If I was being wronged like that, knowing that I didn't commit a crime that I'm being accused of, and only to find out 29 years later that you've been absolved. Like, geez, oh, Pete's. I'm hoping that cat wins a bunch of money, but as optimistic as I am for a lot of these cases that I've heard where people have been wrongly convicted, the odds of getting paid out are not the best. Pallet's ready. Wrong convictions are so common, which is bad. And I can't speak on that. I don't know that we truly have any real research that shows that. Does it appear like it happens more? I mean, just one is too many. We can agree on that. But there's been perfect storm things that have happened that people have been convicted on, and then there's been people that have just been grossly abused by the system. And it's not like we're making that up. We can show examples of that. Michael Riley 2361 said the truth is laws do prevent crimes, but only sometimes. After school prevention programs do work, but only sometimes. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. A lot of things do help, but they're not the end all be all. The truth is that the people have lost control of their government, and the majority don't care. Michael said, people are often too different from each other. Some people care about the following the law, some don't. Some people are more susceptible to peer pressure than others. Most of all, some people have support. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Tasker6669 said, in my opinion, the direction of the justice system took in the 80s with tough on crime, more punishment has led to nothing more crime are committed. Look to Europe, opposite approach in the crime. Yeah. Yep. So when we did talk to Bruce Bryan, one of the cool ideas that he is a part of through Africa, I can't remember the countries exactly, but they have a rehabilitation program to get rid of the recidivism by school programs with the guards, where the guards are teaching the inmates, like, I think a skill and all of that when they get out. But I think the guards' jobs like benefit from it somehow. It's like a mutually beneficial program for the guards and for the inmates. And I think they said it's lowered the violence on both sides, like just a tremendous amount. So I thought that was a cool idea. I think that's something that we should be looking at for over here. And that's another thing that I want to have Bruce on for. I want to talk about some of the shit that he saw, because he talked about a lot of corruption with the CEOs, but he also said there was a lot of good ones. So him having that mindset that there still can be good ones despite the bad ones, like it's encouraging, it's inspiring, and it's my style of optimism, right, Mr. Billfold? You guys don't know this, but Mr. Billfold and I, we've become friends through the show, and we'll call each other up, and he knows I'm a super positive person, and he knows that he looks at things in a different lens, usually pretty negative. And so, but together when we talk, we tend to balance each other out. It's pretty cool. So, how do you feel about let me see, sorry, M.A. Touliet said, how do you feel about police shows such as Live PD? I know it's off topic, but just curious, do they help people understand the law enforcement side? I don't know. I've only watched it a few times. It's a little look, I'm a cop. I don't want to sit and watch other cops do cop stuff. Even though what I do for the show, for what I do here, I'm doing that, but I'm doing it based on education. I want to be able to take a law enforcement incident and use that to educate in some form or fashion. I don't feel like Live PD's doing that. If they do, they don't do it that often. It's more often or not, they're just telling you what the law is. Well, screw that. I want to talk about, why did this cop do well? How can we repeat that? Here's what we do. I want to break it down educationally a lot more. A Live PD doesn't do that. It's just a cop show. It's like watching Cops. I loved Cops when I was younger, but I'm not going to sit around and watch it. So I don't know. I don't know what are they helping show cops in a positive light? I guess. I don't know. I think that's just more of an entertainment thing. I think it's just people wanting to be entertained. And that's no knock on those guys. I think they all know police work for sure. I just saying for what you're asking me, does it help? I don't know. I don't know if that helps. Bad guy's going to do bad guy things. Cops going to do their thing. And then do you honestly think they're going to show on Live PD a cop doing anything other than proper police work? I don't know. I don't watch it enough. I've only seen clips and stuff. But I think education is how we help. That's why we do what we do. Just like they have a certain percentage of convicted felons that these private prisons have going. Oh yeah, don't get me going on the private prison shit. That is a mistake. You shouldn't be privatizing anything with your law enforcement, with anything in the criminal justice system. You should not be privatizing, at least on the government side. That is just opening the door for corruption. Deborah Bond said, what do you think about requiring 18-year-old kids to join the military for at least one tour? That would help. Oh, fuck yeah. I've actually taught. I think you should have to do 2 years in the military. I like the mandatory. You turn 18, 2 years in the military. Absolutely. I wish they would have had that for me. How can we fund more rehab in jails and prisons when we can't agree on how to fund our schools? Not with my tax money when the military eats 17 million a day. Yeah, that's true. Yep. David Edmonston in the house said, William Blackstone in Commentaries on the Laws of England, 1769. Blackstone wrote, the law holds that it is better than 10 guilty persons escape than one innocent suffer. Yeah. See, some deep shit. They simply need to stop hiring criminals to be cops. I don't think they're necessarily hiring criminals to be cops. I think they hire people and then they turn into criminals sometimes. That happens. But it's pretty easy to do a criminal background check. If they don't have a conviction, they don't have a conviction. With that said, I have heard of, hold on, now that I think about it, now that I think about your comment, Lacey, if we did that, Matt Thornton wouldn't be a cop. So no, I don't agree with you. Got you, Matt. You're my boy. I agree with Ross Perot. This country should be ran like a corporation, a nonprofit corporation. Good. I like that, Uncle Fatty. No, you can criminalize behavior, but you cannot legislate behavior. Not even God, the people. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. My bad. I just misunderstood, Mr. Billfold. Yeah. Okay. Let me show another video here. Which one? Okay, we just showed this one. Oh, okay. Let me give you the backstory on this one before we show it. Somebody sent me a video of a magnet fisherman. Now, I follow a ton of magnet fishermen because I like it. I like the content. It's fun. And then you can always tell the people that are fake magnet fishing. I don't follow those people. But I truly ran across one that I didn't know who it was. The video was sent in as a short clip, which is the clip I share. And just before I posted, because I'd already made my reaction and everything, but just before I posted it, somebody hit me up and goes, "Oh, that's Danny Dip." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, let me give that guy credit." So Danny Dip is who it is. And then he actually reached out and he was a little mad at me for sharing his video and not asking permission. I was like, well, bro, I didn't know who you were. And I didn't know at the time, like, who to even ask. And I was already in the process of putting it on the internet. So I added the overlay of, credit to Danny Dip. But I apologize again, sir. That was not the intent. And he seemed cool with it afterwards, but yeah, my bad. That's not what I try to do. If I give credit to every auditor's video that we try to put out there and all that stuff. So, but yeah, so I made this video of this magnet fisherman and I got a part of it wrong too. I was also some clarifications because initially it was told to me that they found a firearm, but it turns out it was like some sort of bomb. It was I don't know what kind, some sort of bomb. Live unexploded ordnance. We'll put it that way. So it makes it even more crazy. But now I'm going to share this video. You can watch it and then we'll discuss because it did get quite the reaction. Is this the right one? Yep, that's the right one. We're going to share. All right. It made me little guy down there and play.
Throw this in the garbage can.
I understand that, but you're taking up resources away from the city of Fond du Lac every single time you guys do this. Okay.
Never had city worker get mad for us finding something this way.
All right, this one. Okay, so you can see there. I'm going to stop sharing. We weren't even talking about a firearm. And initially, that's when I made my reaction. I thought it was on a firearm. We're talking about unexploded ordnances. This could hurt a fisherman. It could hurt a lot of people. I don't know exactly where they found it, but and then like that is, they said the city of Fond du Lac. I don't know where that's at, but I'm going to assume it's a department that's tiny. I can't picture that there's a whole lot of city resources that need to be available. No offense to Fond du Lac, but This is just lazy cop behavior. This is, I don't want to deal with this, so I'm going to make you feel bad about me having to do my job. For you doing, and this is another thing that the Magna fishermen out there, all of the ones I follow, they are pulling trash. They're not throwing it back in the water. They're disposing of it. They actually do a community service, and you get entertained by it. So for me, let's see if I can lounge my chair back. My back's hurting. Ugh. So for me, seeing this, oh yeah, this is way more comfy. For me, seeing this, I just get so irritated because I've seen cops like this, and you can tell they will sit there and bullshit with you for the next 45 hour and a half to try to talk you out of doing a police report so they don't have to do any paperwork. When they would have just been done with the call, had they taken the information and done what they were supposed to, within 45 minutes. So the time it takes for them to talk themselves out of having to do the call, they would have been done with it. Insane to me. Let me go back over to the Instagram chat and see if I missed anything. Pallets Ready said, just like they have a certain percentage of convicted felons that these private prison. Oh, we already read that one. My bad. Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Greg Allen said probably Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Do me a favor. Pull up. Nah, fuck it. I'll do it. I'll do it myself. I'm not going to make you work. I got the time. Let me look this up. I was already looking up Supreme Court. And so Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Police size. They have a total of 44 officers. 44 officers for population of 44,000 people as of 2025. Oh, no. That's right. That's not right. The population is approximately 44,000. The county has 104,000. So 44,000 people. I would say you're not having a whole lot of calls. If I were to guess. But when you have a bomb call like this, that's a lot of resources. It really is. Now you got to call EOD out. You got to call fire. You got to set up a cordon around it. It's all sorts of things that you got to do. For me, I would look at that as more of a fun call. But the nerve to try to get upset at these guys for doing a public service. It is a public service. I think they get fixated on the fact that they're doing it for social media stuff because they're taking their fun hobby and now they're just putting a video to it. That's all there is. And they do a good job. Danny Dipp does a great job. I love his stuff. Once I found out who he was, I started looking him up. He's not one of the, he does it legit. He doesn't go around planting stuff in the water and pulling it up. He does it the right way. There's another one called All My D or D All My D, something like that. I follow those. I call them kids. Follow those guys as well. They're fun to watch. So, yeah. Let me go back over here to the comments. Can you guys tell me the state law that says I have to get out of my car for officer safety? Pennsylvania v. Mims isn't law. It's a court opinion. Yeah, that's what we go off of court opinions. That's the Supreme Court opinion. So you have to get out of the car. Now, we've talked about this ad nauseum on here. I believe Pennsylvania v. Mims to be based on a safety concern that you can articulate. However, it has been so bastardized through court decisions and circuit court levels that it really don't need anything other than to say that they need you to get out of the car for safety. It can be that fucking blanket of a statement. I don't agree with that. Anytime I've ever flexed Pennsylvania v. Mims, I've had a articulable reason why. And I've listed that. I think that should be the standard, but it's currently not. It's currently not. So Supreme Court decisions, case law, that's what it's called, case law. It's not just an opinion, it's case law. So because it's case law, it is what it is. I can see myself on the camera, so I felt like I looked like what's that? Shane Gilliam when he does that look. That's what I felt like right there. Shane Gillis, is that his name? I don't remember his name. He's awesome though. What if children decided to go swimming in the river and found it? That'd be devastating. Right. But that attitude that she had, I'm sorry, you got me going down another thing. That attitude that she had is unreal. You're mad that you had to work. That's what that is. You're mad you had to work. Looking over at Instagram, nothing new on Instagram. Mr. Billfold said, I was threatened with arrest for giving our Little Caesars to the homeless downtown on the Riverwalk. Doing a public service means not. Yeah, I've seen that too. People set up little tables and they're giving out to the homeless. And unless it's causing a traffic hazard, like I've seen that where it's just cars are stopped. You're like, come on, guys. I don't mind that you're giving food out to the homeless or whatever you're going to do. You just don't block traffic. Let's have a little common courtesy. Mr. Billfold said it is the Penn v. Mims decision, but the lower circuits are making decisions to go against the Supreme Court's decision. The tyrant officer used and abused the language of the law. That's everybody, brother. I don't know why you think that that's just a law enforcement thing. That's everybody. Your defense attorney is going to use and abuse the law to defend you. The prosecutor is going to use and abuse the law to get a prosecution. And cops are going to test the limits of laws to try to catch bad guys. Lacey said a majority of the people are allowing them. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys are having a little side convo. There used to be standards. What happened to those? Can you explain what happened there? Two cops, one doing it. Standards of what? Give me something specific. The Don Dunpeel said, 07. Thank you to whoever gifted me a membership. Yeah, more than likely it was Harrison. More likely it's the two-party system. Or Brandar86. We got some regulars that donate to the page quite regularly. So let me give a shout out while we're sitting on here to some of our sponsors. Peregrine.io if you want your officers and detectives to be like Sherlock Holmes without the skill. Get them Peregrine. If you can't afford to have more officers, if you can't pay to have more officers, get them the tech that helps supplement that issue, that gap. Peregrine.io. If you guys are looking for, see if I can reach it without knocking my coffee over. Ugh. If you're looking for patches, I know you guys can't see this one the best. I know it looks metal. It is not. It's flexible. See? It's a bendy. It looks metal. It's a Flex Shield by Ghost Patch Customs. Go to ghostpatchcustoms.com. And Retro Rifle. I'm not wearing a Retro Rifle shirt, but they hide guns. If you like the Second Amendment, they hide guns in Hawaiian type shirts and pop culture shirts. Very cool. And they don't wrinkle. Put them in your suitcase, throw them in there and get them out. They don't wrinkle. So, but what got me down that tangent? We were talking about MIMS, standards. To become an LEO. Well, that's the thing is you got to think you've got 18,000 separate jurisdictions-ish, approximate. That's the number of law enforcement agencies around the nation. And there is no standardized policing. You don't want federally standardized policing. I think there are some things that you do want a standard across the board on. I think use of force should be one of those, but we'll never come to that agreement because what we do in Texas, they're never going to agree with in California. And what they do in California, we're never going to agree with in Florida and all of that. Marine Blood, why don't you ever warn your mods when you're going live? My bad. I get so fixated on setting everything up. I forget. My bad. But yeah, standards. some departments can't afford to have the same standards. They're having so much trouble just getting officers to the department. They have to lower the standards. All these defund the police cities. Look at NYPD. I think they're fucked for a while. But my dogs are fighting again outside. They don't, that whatever that new guy, mayor's name or governor, Mata Dewami, or I don't follow the news that well, guys, but whoever that dude is, it made a bunch of cops bounce, like 5,000 quit overnight or some shit like that. That is not a recoverable number. That's going to create such an accordion effect that they're going to be screwed for years. I don't know what that guy did, but they don't like him over there. So now what do you think the standards of hire are going to be? You think they're going to be harder? Or do you think they're going to be lower? It all goes on needs, guys. It's going to get lower for sure. David Edmondson said, please don't type in all caps. David, I think you're just going to encourage the people to type in all caps. He said, sorry. That's what the mods will always say on Agenda Free TV. Marine, I am a mod. I'm a heap big man. I'm special. I talk in all caps if I want. Deborah Bond said, NYC is toast. Ugh. That's what it sounds like. I don't know. I don't really, again, I see enough negative stuff at work. For those that understand what I do at work now, you really know that I see nothing. I'll give you some perspective. Okay, so in a city of, let's say, 1 million calls for service every 6 months. I don't remember if that stat was 1 million calls a year or 1 million calls every 6 months or something like that. It's probably 1 million every 6 months, considering we have 1.2 million people where I'm at. Anyway, with that amount of calls, one officer in themselves out in patrol, they're only going to see, I don't know, I'm guessing, but from my training experience here, I would say 2 to 3 like really bad calls a week if they're out there really working. I work in a real-time crime center where I'm streaming officers' body cams. I'm streaming their dash cameras. I'm streaming Air One, the helicopter that goes around. I'm streaming the drones that we use. I get to see all of it. My operators, they see everything way more than me because I only come in on the bad calls, the really bad calls. But we're seeing that stuff across the city. You're not just one cop on one call. You're all the cops on all the calls all day long. So you see the worst of the worst. One of the worst things I've seen recently is the dude's just set himself on fire at a Walmart. Like, so you see some bad shit. And then I do this. And part of what I do is I have to watch cops doing bad stuff. I have to watch cops doing good stuff and make reaction videos on it, try to do some sort of educational thing. And then I jump on here and I talk to you guys. And you got videos that you send to me and you want me to see and all that stuff. So I am constantly being inundated with negative shit. So I don't watch the news. I don't watch any more negative stuff than I have to. I try to keep a positive attitude. It's very easy to become jaded in this career field. Try not to be that dude, you know? So Ryan Land, I can't say his name. Ryan 6849. He says, hey, good morning. What's up, brother? Tasker said, are you interested in expat living in Germany? Comparison, prison, crime. I don't know. Oh, are you interested? I don't know what that's saying there, Tasker. Rephrase that question. And yes, I can make the heap big man joke since my wife is a Native American. I have Chippewa in my blood. But yeah, going through. All right. I think we've successfully exhausted that video. Let's go to the next. Point being, Fond du Lac, you need to do better. And people ask, do I think she needs to be fired and all that? No, I don't think that. Listen, y'all's cancel culture is just way too crazy for me. There's times when I think somebody needs to be fired very easily. It's very apparent. But for almost everything, I think I break it down this way. Was what they did so egregious that we can't learn from it and fix it? If it's a yes, then they get fired. If it's a no, then we work with it. We try to fix it. So, all right, let's go to this video here. Mr. Sweatland's on. What's up, Banning? He's like, Levine, you went live without me. Sorry, brother. It was early and I just wanted to jump on. Let me see here. We need to share the screen. Okay. Oh, Marine Blood, I appreciate that, sir. He said, do you like the show and have some extra money? Fund. I can't get it to pop up on the screen. Fund my 1,200% pay raise by donating here. Yes, it does help, guys. I do want to put that out there. We don't sit here and beg for money on our show, but we do need it to survive. So if you guys like what we do and appreciate what we got going on here and you want to help support more than with just the likes and follows, because those help tremendously, please feel free to click on that link or go to our YouTube channel and help support with your hard-earned dollars. We do appreciate that. Nothing goes in our pockets. It all goes into the show. So we can do this stuff. I'm trying to get Banning and I'm trying to get Matt Thornton cameras like these. So that's the next step. I got to get them to some cameras. So the title of this is, did he deserve a ticket or was this ego? So I'm going to hit play.
What's going on? Put yourself here, put your free speed. Get your license, your vehicle information. Okay, let me see. I got some license. Okay. You got your vehicle information? Alright, give me a second. You were getting on that. You got the information back? You got on that? Alright, give me 1 second. Alright, give me 1 second. I think for speed, court date, time, location on the phone. You don't want to record, you can pay it. So what's that phone number on the back? I'm trying to get 403. Secret William Nora. 403. You can talk about it. Court date on there, all right? Blackboard. No, you're not going to see it.
So because I set my license down after you handed it to me, you felt the need to take it right back and go write a ticket?
Yep.
All right.
Somebody asked me to do a reaction video.
All right. So I'll start off with the positive. The one thing that I like what this officer was able to do is he didn't give an attitude back. He stayed professional the whole time. But it is of my opinion that that was an ego ticket right there. He did not like, for whatever reason, this guy having an attitude about being pulled over, which I'm sorry, you're only going to get a couple different reactions when you pull people over. They're either super apologetic and just they don't want nothing to do with the cops, you know. You get people to get upset like this, and that's okay too. And then you get people that are just, you know, scared. So out of all of those reactions, like, it's an emotional reaction that people get, and it's understandable. And you need to understand that just the uniform and the lights in itself are going to cause people to not act how they normally would. So because this guy dropped his ID or whatever it was, obviously something changed his mind. He gave the citation, the warning. He gave the warning. And to go back and change that is crazy. Oh, what in the hell is my TV doing? Get off my TV. That was weird. So him writing the warning and then retrieving it. Now somebody asked me, and I never thought of this. I don't know what the ruling would be. I don't know. This is something that would be interesting to see in court. Is the warning was written. That was a digital printout. So unless new information comes to light, facts of the case, the stop was pretty much over. So how do you justify going back into somebody's vehicle, grabbing their property, and taking it from them, and then going back and writing a ticket? Ooh. I think you have a very good argument for that being unlawful. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not an attorney for anything. I don't have those qualifications. I'm just a dumb street cop. So I can tell you right now, I don't know what the rule is on that. I don't know. I've never seen anybody do that. I've never even heard of anybody doing that. So I don't know. I don't know. I think you have a very good argument that that stop was complete. So, and then how do you defend yourself? I always look at how would I defend myself in court? And what makes me lean towards it being an ego thing versus facts of the case is what made you write the warning? That's one of the questions that I would want to. Well, I wrote the warning because when I looked up their history, they didn't have a history. I looked at the traffic. The traffic wasn't bad. Their action didn't appear to put anybody in danger. These are facts that I look for. These are what I look for when I'm deciding to write a ticket. Like, did you do something so egregious that it put people in danger and that I wouldn't do myself? Like speeding through a school zone. That's an easy one for me. I will write that ticket almost every single time. But so I like to see what their history is. I like to see the totality of what just happened. They were speeding, but did it affect anybody? No, it didn't affect anybody. All right, just give them more. Hey, bro, slow it down. Like there's a ton of cops running radar through here. Just do that. Have a nice day. But their attitude, and Izzo actually kind of changed my mind on this whole thing. Like, I never really thought about it, but their attitude shouldn't come into account for any of it. So when you have to go back and say, well, why did you decide to write the ticket? Now you got to articulate why you wrote it. And good luck trying to prove that you wrote it based on the facts, because you already had all the facts. You wrote a warning and then decided to change your mind based on what? Nothing new happened other than attitude. Would any reasonable and prudent person believe that you wrote that ticket based on the facts of the case versus the emotional side? So I don't think they would. Mike Cucumber said, Eric, it would 100% be unlawful, but jury would likely give a small payout. David Ladner said, oh, is he related to Steve? I agree. Him reaching is unlawful. The warning is issued. Mr. Billfold said the warning was issued. He gave the ID back. The stop was over. He needed a new reason to seize his ID again. I agree with that. That's why I said, I think guys, just because this is something to consider when we have these conversations too. Just because you say it's unlawful and just because I say it's probably unlawful, it doesn't mean that a good defense attorney on the same subject can't make a great argument of why it's lawful. I'm challenging your brain to think both sides of it. Because as a cop, that's what we have to think about I think we should be thinking about all the time. Because just because you see somebody commit a crime on the books, and I'm air quoting, just because you see it doesn't necessarily mean you got to do some enforcement action. So we need to be looking at both sides as well. So just because, we got to think both sides. I'll put it at that. I'm going to just talk myself into a hole. But yeah, Uncle Fatty said previous criminal history is not supposed to be a factor in the new charges, though. That's not true. So, Uncle Fatty is asking if previous charges come into a factor. No, that's for when they're sentenced in court. But absolutely, it's a factor. If I pull you over and I see you've got, speeding after speeding after speeding, I'm writing you a ticket. You're not learning your lesson, and you're still continuing to do the behavior that you're not supposed to be doing. So now, if you had ticket after ticket after ticket, and then I see, a whole year gap since the last time you were pulled over, or 2 years, or whatever it is, well, I'm be like, all right, hey man, you had a good run. Maybe this is your wake up call. I'm not going to write you a ticket. I'm going to give you a warning. So these are all factors based on fact. It's not based on emotion. It's based on what we see in front of us. And what did I just saw one that wanted? Well, we did see this is from the Don Dunpeel. We did see that one video of an officer reach in to retrieve the driver's gun, realize he messed up and put it back. It was just yeah, that was a bad. I remember that one where he just opened. Well, we might be thinking of different ones. I did see one where he's like, "Well, he just opens the door. He's like, "I'm gonna retrieve your gun, make sure it's not stolen, and all this shit." I'm like, "What in the fuck?" Yeah, that was an illegal seizure. Eric, it is clearly established. It has been settled due to cops writing warnings and then asking to search a vehicle. The case law is out there. Again, Mr. Billfold, cool. You're making an argument. I'm with you. You're making a good argument, but that doesn't mean it's clear. It doesn't mean somebody here. For example, I will just give you just an argument I'm making up off the top of my head is that I still have my lights initiated. I had not said goodbye. I did not use any sort of communication indicating that my stop was over. I was still in the process of deciding if I was going to write the ticket or not. And last second, I decided to change my mind. That's a fair argument. Or, something that I hadn't considered suddenly popped in my head. I'm like, oh, I forgot to think about this factor and changed my mind to write the ticket. I mean, I don't know if that's true. We don't know if that's true, but that could be an argument. He's still at the door. He didn't leave. The contact was still going on. One could reasonably argue that the stop wasn't over. There's reasonable doubt. Just saying. It's possible. With that said, again, Mr. Billfold, before you lose your shit, it's just an argument. It's just an argument. He says, no, I agree. Nothing is clearly established, at least if it disfavors police, right? And again, on clearly established stuff, it has to be exactly like it was in the previous court decision, because that's how cops get away with the qualified immunity argument all the time. Is it wasn't the case didn't exactly look at the same formula as this other case, which is dumb. That's why it needs to be adjusted. Two cops went down at the LAO taking the gun and the LAO taking the ID the second time are the same. No, it's not. It's not. I have a right to your ID on a traffic stop. I don't have a right to get in and seize your weapon. It can be argued that the ticket still is in custody of the officer until the stop is officially over. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I still agree with you guys. So fucking relax. I still agree. Mike, Marine Blood said, Mike, good point. That should be a consideration as well, but someone should be more mindful of the speed and surroundings. I guess I missed what. Still cannot breach the plane of the window. That constitutes a search via breach. I think you're right. I think you're right on that. I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right on that. I believe you're right. That's a good point. I like that point. Wouldn't have he had to ask for the ID back? Again, guys, by him putting it in the car or handing it over to that guy, that's why I said I agree. I think there's a very good argument, and I'm on that side of I don't think you can reach back in and grab that stuff. I'm with you. But I wouldn't be doing my mission if I didn't bring up the other side and try to challenge that line of thinking. So, how can I be wrong when I agree with you? Harrison, you asshole. I'm not wrong. There's no right answer. You have to go to court for that. That's who decides who's right. There's a better argument, and I'm with you on that side of the argument. Police stole $1,000 in one case, but the next case they stole $5,000. Not clearly established. See. Heffin. All right, let me try this. Heflinizer. Got it. Heflinizer on Instagram said a gun is personal property. A license is a privilege that can be revoked. Must have a really good reason to take a gun off someone other than safety. Yeah, agreed. Eric, Marine Blood said, Eric, we were discussing speed limits and if someone should be given a ticket if they are 20 over. You are the one who said it was not the same. I don't know what we're talking about anymore, Harrison. But yeah, speed limit's over 20. Look, speeding. Now, if you're doing something that's reckless, if you're doing 20 over in the fast lane and you're not riding somebody's ass or anything like that, like you're not, ticket. But if you're doing 20 plus and you're weaving in and out of traffic and cars are, jerking around trying to avoid you or you're causing other people to react to your high speed, well, now we're bordering some sort of criminal. But for the most part, like, speeding is speeding. Like, it's just a ticket. Marine Blood, do you enjoy the show and discussion in the chat? Join our Discord. Yeah, please join our Discord, guys. There is a lot more behind the scenes that happens in our Discord than anywhere else. We're constantly dropping photos that we don't put anywhere else, videos that we don't put anywhere else. We have good discussions on there that don't go anywhere else. Our Discord truly is its own little fishbowl, which is really good stuff. Mike Cucumber said, Eric, I agree with that sentiment on speeding. Yeah, guys, it's like, again, I'm out for violent crime and stuff where you're victimizing other people. Like that's the stuff that I really tend to lean into. Like we had that lady that I posted the video of her speeding going 101 with her kids in the car, not seat belted in, just roaming around. She's got a suspended license. The person with them's got a suspended license. No insurance on the car. Like, no, fuck every bit of you. You're going to jail, towing the car because you don't deserve to have a car. And I am going to call CPS because, and people are like, oh, CPS does more harm than good. Like, listen, in some cases, I don't have another outlet. And in my experience with CPS, it's been the worst of the worst. And I don't believe that those kids went into a worse situation afterwards. I believe they went to a really good situation. So, but I do, anytime I have called CPS, I have followed through with my cases because I care about that stuff. And I know a lot of cops that do the same exact thing. They follow up on the kid cases. Dropped the two-party system, said 2 cops went on. I got off with doing 35 plus, but there was no traffic. The stop lasted like 1 minute. Yeah, that's the type of stops I do. You just pull them over. You're like, bro, relax, slow down. All right, sorry. All right, have a good day. I don't need your ID, nothing like that. Take off. And if you're driving like a supercar, Corvette, sports car, stuff like I get it. I get it, guys. Marine Blood said 100%, Mike. And that's why if you wear a Grinch costume and going 20 over, you should get arrested. But if you wear a Santa Claus outfit, you should get a warning. Yeah. There's actually a really good picture of me arresting the Grinch. Arresting, I say with air quotes. It was a photo op for the Grinch at a taco truck. So if you guys, 10 points to whoever finds that photo and sends it to us on our Discord. What you're getting at, Uncle Fatty said, what you're getting at is the officer always has a prefigured excuse that can be used to muddy the gray area with reasonable, audible plausibility. Fair. So bribe the police with gifts. No. But I like tacos. Just saying. Oh, Bearded Tim's in here. What's up, Tim? Let me go over to Instagram. He joined on Instagram as well. Checking out our Instagram. Guys, we need to figure out how to get the Instagram lives popping. They're not popping. They are doing a little better. We're floating around 5 to 10 people, but we just can't keep people interested on Instagram. Just don't think it's the platform for lives, or maybe not for my live. Maybe that's the problem. It's not, doesn't hit that niche. So let me go to another video here. We already did that one. Okay. Oh, well, let's just do this one anyway. We just talked about it. I didn't realize I had that one loaded up. We will share the screen. Marine Blood. About time you shut up, Tim. I'm on YouTube. Would you like me to go to IG? Here we go.
This morning doing 101 mile an hour. How old are these children? You have probably, two that should be in car seats at least? At least one that's laying.
I'm going to pause it real quick and just recognize that CapCut has really upped the AI game for these beats that I put on my videos, because some of these beats be hitting hard. I was like, oh shit, like this could be, Eminem could do a song to this one. Anyway, let's keep going.
Across somebody's lap. Each one of those children not seatbelted is a citation. 101 miles an hour in a 70, you can go to jail for. It's 30 over the speed limit. And right now you have no paperwork that shows you're supposed to have this car. The sun is just now starting to come up. You're rolling 101 with your babies in the backseat. None of them, I'm sorry, 2 of them are probably got seatbelts on. Have you seen what happens to a vehicle at 101 mile an hour crash? You have, and yet you're still willing to put your children in there? Hang tight, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Oh, it's irritating. And she's suspended. She's gonna be wanted.
Looks like he is showing very suspicious.
101 miles an hour. Nobody's got a valid license. They've got.
So, important distinction to see what this cop just did here, and this is something that does get overlooked by people not in law enforcement, is he ran her name on the computer, and it showed that her license is suspended. But the checks and balances system that this department has, which is really good, is he confirmed. He called what we call PIC. Basically, they're the ones that are looking at the NCIC stuff, and they will double check to make sure that the system is up to date and that that person is currently suspended. So they're getting the most up-to-date information and not just relying on that quick check that the officer did in the car on his computer. So that's who he's talking to on the radio, and that's when that lady said, yeah, she's showing very suspended. So it's pretty cool. I like that he's doing that. I really wonder how many kids are in that car, for the fact that he said, I see 2 of them probably have seatbelts on. So how many kids are in this car? But yeah, let's keep going.
Kids unrestrained from 3 years and up. And now she's wanted to. At this time, you are going to be placed in custody.
Now, I know I give traffic.
All right, so let's get this stupid face off of here. There we go. Yeah, I and you can see he even says, I'm irritated. Like, you can tell, yeah, he's irritated. He's pissed off. It's hard not to when it's kids involved, especially if you're a parent. And if you're not a parent, you've never been a parent, you're like, oh, parents always say that. Yeah, shut the fuck up until you have kids, because it literally chemically changes you. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it happens the instant that kid pops out. At least it did for me, and every parent that I know says the same thing. For all you that, oh, my animals are my kids, and you've never had a kid, shut up. Shut your mouth. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So anyway, I would have done all of those things, and I agree with him. I agree with him on that. Eric, come be the sheriff in my county. They don't pay enough, brother. They do not pay enough. I promise you. I don't know anybody that pays enough to be a sheriff. Instagram is chock full of bootlickers, just like the TikTok. Come on now. I don't like some of these blanket terms y'all use. Bootlickers. I don't like that. tyrant. I don't like that. You know, and that goes for the thin blue line side too. Don't get me wrong. Look, I'm going to give you both sides love. Like, you know, all, you know, God bless the peacekeepers, blah, 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 blah. Like, look, don't say that unless you know the cop. You know, all cops are heroes. No, they're not. They're not. Not until they do some hero shit. I am not a hero. Not a hero until I do some hero shit. You don't get to be labeled a hero just because you wear the uniform. So I'm trying to find a place to put my feet up. It's not working. The Don Dunpeel said, on scene, yes, in this video, that lady had a total disregard for everybody and everything. Yep. Bearded Tim said, it's snowing here. Yuck. Uncle Fatty said, where is the line for miles per hour over the limit? Where does it become reckless? It's not reckless in speed. It's reckless in action. That's my point. Again, 20 over in a school zone while kids are crossing the road, reckless. 20 over on a freeway in the fast lane with hardly any traffic on the road, it's not reckless. He said, are you using your phone? No, I am in vertical mode, sir, because we're on Instagram. So that's what's going on. Tasker said, that's what I don't like about the arrest with kids involved. Take the effort and don't do it in front of the kid. Yep. I think it's generally 20 over. I may be different per state. Steve Wallace in the house. What's up, Steve? Andy Fletcher. It's true. I'm sorry. I call you tyrant. No, it's fine, guys. I just, it's in the manner of its use is when I get annoyed with it. When it's just blanketly used, like self-proclaimed heroes. Credit to the old Steve Ladner. Yeah, David said it. David Ladner, self-proclaimed. Yeah, shit like that. Like, if you have an example and we're talking about something specific, cool. But as a blanket statement, just because you don't like cops or just because you love cops, come on now. Harrison with the gold. But firefighters are all heroes. Yeah, they are. They are all heroes. Fucking firefighters. Even I love them. You can't help but love them. Although we did team up on this firefighter the other day. He posted a video. I think it was me, Copville, and Izzo posted this thirst trap video of him being in front of the fire truck and posing and doing shit just to impress the chicks. Like, look, you want to do your shit, that's cool, but don't do it on city time, on the city dime. In front of city equipment that you don't pay for. You're flexing I don't know what you call the badge, the firefighter badge, patch. I don't know what they have, but you're flexing that for your clicks and likes on the city time. I don't like that. The Don Dunpeel said, cops are human. That much is true. But in my opinion, some officers take way too much for granted. Oh, for sure. For sure, brother. Let me run over to Instagram here. I think I've missed some comments. 14 Robots. That's a very interesting name. It's tough to get Instagram live viewership no matter the topic, be it whiskey or cops. Oh, yeah. I love me some whiskey. Tim said, I'm on both. Love it. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't get it. Want to give Eric a hard time 24/7 within reason? Join the Discord. That's one of my mods. Big shout out to my mods. Tim, the bearded Tim, however you want to refer to him. We like calling him Methy Santa Claus. And then Marine Blood, another one. I'm about to add some more. I want to get Nat involved, Natalie from our Facebook groups. I got to get her more involved. I'm very, very picky with my mods. So, and I don't want them to be overwhelmed. However, I am getting overwhelmed on Instagram and Facebook, so I kind of want to see if Nat wants to tackle both of those. The Don Dunpeel said, one of my best friends is a cop down in Maryland. I would say up in Maryland. And I know it's a hard job. Last time he came over, I gave him a little citizens quiz and he passed. I'd like to think he is a good training officer. Yeah. It's funny. It depends on how you look at something being hard. Because I look at law enforcement as like cake. It's so easy until that like 1% of the time it's hard. But I look at hard as like physical labor. That's hard. Electricians, garbage guys, plumbers, welders, guys that work in the shops, muffler men, nurses that are on their feet all day, teachers having to deal with kids, like that stuff to me, that's hard. That's a mental beatdown. But if you're really good at compartmentalizing like me, in fact, being a cop's been easy. It's been easy. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's not a good thing. But looking over here at the chats, somebody's name is D Money Be Shooting. Some of your names are great. My mom said 20 over, still breaking the law. No excuses. I've seen way too many bodies mangled and body parts scattered due to speed in my life. I feel the same about speed as I do about drunk and drugged. See, that's the people that are in line at the police station and at the town hall meeting saying that cops need to be writing more tickets. My mom's one of those people, I bet. Oh, Marine Blood said, I'm a charity case since YouTube won't gift me a sub. You're definitely not a charity case. You had expertise in your field. By hard, I mean things cops have to go through on a daily basis. As you said, you can see some of the work. Yeah. I will give you that. And again, that's why I said, like, I think my ability to compartmentalize things has helped me in this career. That's why I'm able to keep such positive attitude. I'm able to not think about that. I can push it away. I don't push it down. There's a difference. I literally forget it. I just like, it's gone. I don't let it sit in my head. It's a God-gifted talent. And mental health for officers is highly overlooked. It is. I do think it's getting a lot better. I think there's a lot of people that like to, no offense to some of these cops out there, but I feel like there's a big money-making push to capitalize on the topic. Don't know if their hearts are always necessarily in the right place. Uncle Fatty, I used to speed all the time everywhere. Lots of tickets. Until the kids were born. Now I drive like a damn old grandpa. Yeah, that'll change you. And another thing to consider, like if you do 20 over the speed limit from your destination to wherever, they say you're lucky if it sheds a minute or two off of your time, your total time. So it's really not worth it anyway. He said it, and then I realized I was just racing to the next light. Yeah, wisdom. I mean, I do hammer it to get to the speed limit. Now I speed. Oh, I drive like a cop. That's the problem. Yeah, let me go to the next video here. Let me watch that one. I got one more loaded up here. I did like a full episode. I didn't even intend to. I just was going to jump on here until I was about to go make some videos. And I made a full 2 Cops, 1 Donut live stream episode. All right, let me share this one here for you guys. Pardon me, I'm using my left hand to navigate this mouse. All right. Based on the way that Dad's walking here, and when Son said that he wanted to be a canine officer for Halloween, I don't think this is what he planned on. But mad props for being such a good dad. Tell me that Dad didn't look a little disheveled. I like to show some positive stuff, and that was cool to me. Good dad. The great debate was what breed of dog was he? I said he was a Doberman. Some people are saying he's a Shepherd. I can tell you whatever it was. I don't think he intended on being put on a leash, but I could be wrong. You never know. Could be wrong. Uncle Fatty, yeah, Discord is its own beast. That is for sure. It is. Discord modding is totally different. That's why we got Brian Thompson on there. We got Tim. We got Marine Blood. Yeah, and I don't know how to do any of it. I've not had the time to sit there and really figure out how to do anything. Because I've got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and there's 3 groups on Facebook. I just want you guys to know that. There's 3. Personal, business, and private group. Then we got Threads, Clapper, and Twitter, which is X. We have a Rumble. I don't really keep that up to date very well because it was pulling the videos automatically from YouTube and it stopped at some point, and I never knew that it stopped because I never really used it. So we do have a Rumble, and then we also have a Twitch. So I got to do all of those things. So that's why I say I don't have the time to figure a lot of this stuff out. What on earth? I wouldn't be caught dead in something like that. Why are you hating? Ghost said, Dobie Shep mix. Keys, what up, Free? Free in the house. Free sent me, and I'm sorry if I'm blasting you out there, Freeman, but sent me a really cool email about our last live stream with San Joaquin Valley Transparency. I have a hard time remembering his name. But between him, I actually got more emails from that episode than any episode, including Kyle Rittenhouse when we had him on. I got more emails from that one episode than I've on any live stream that we've done, which is crazy. Crazy. I guess he really, I think what really shocked people, which is this was the most common reaction, was that I never heard of him. And he's like an OG of First Amendment auditing. I hadn't. His videos had never run across me. When I saw his personal page and seen his face, I'd never seen his face before. His voice didn't ring a bell. So I don't think I've ever even shared any of his stuff because he's never run across. But having him on the live stream just brought a ton of people in. So it was really cool. It was really cool that episode resonated with so many people. And again, I think we really helped bridge a gap there. There's so many cops that come into our comment section like, why do you give these guys a platform, and just hate on them. And I'm like, you ever sit down and talk to any of them? Because I do. Try to figure out their mission. Try to figure out what they're doing. If they think that they're out there doing exactly what you claim you think they're doing. So, because I get the same reactions on here from other cops that hate on what we do here. Oh, you're just out there for clicks and likes. You got to be the center of attention. Cool. That's what you think we're doing. That's all good for you, brother. I was like, but I've got a history archive of emails of other cops like, thank you, I didn't know this. Thank you, I didn't know that. Oh, we learned about this. We'd never been taught about First Amendment auditors there about this. Or citizens reaching out and saying, oh, we never considered that perspective. Like, that's all this show's about. Perspective sharing. This is what I would be doing if I was out on the street. I would be saying the same exact stuff. So, yeah. There is one. Oh, shit. There it goes. Well, my screen went away for a second. I messed it up. Let me go back to my Instagram. Let's see what we got on there. Trev Tattoo said Epstein Island Halloween party fit. You fucker. Oh, shit. That's why I like the chat. Chat. There's so many more people that are funny out there on the internet. This is one thing that I did want to share is the comment section of our Danny Dip video, because there is a moron on there that I wanted to point out. I think it was the Danny Dip video. Let me see here. I don't know how well this is going to be able to show you guys. Share. You don't need to hear. Let me pause that. You don't need to. I hate when it pauses on me. Where is he? That's not what we want. Maybe it was this. Oh, did he delete all his stuff? Oh no, there he is. This dude right here. This guy. William Beller 775. I offered him to come on here and talk. He didn't want to do it. He just wanted to talk a bunch of noise. And I don't normally call people out like this, but this guy's like he even tried to call me out, so fuck him. He was trying to make some stupid statement about that it needed to be in the chain of evidence. And I told him we don't call it chain. I was like, because he claims he was a cop at one point. So we don't call it the chain of evidence. I've never even heard a cop refer to it that way. We always say chain of custody. That's the language. And as you can see, he tried to share this bag and say that this is the evidence, or this is proving his point. And I'm like, if you'd have just read right here at the bottom or the middle of that thing, it says chain of custody. So, and then he tries to claim he's got 30 years experience and everything that he said. And by the way, he was taking the side of the cop out of Fond du Lac. So that tells you that this guy has no clue what he's talking about. William.Beller.775. William, let me see here. And then I looked through his stuff because I'm an investigator by nature. And apparently he played a cop as an extra. So he really felt that he knew what he was talking about. IG name. Anyway. Yeah. Don't put me on blast. I won't put you on blast, sir. Sorry. I know somebody had some comments I was going to go back to and read. Make sure there wasn't any on Instagram first. Okay, let me go over here. What on earth wouldn't be caught dead? And okay, yeah. Marine Blood said just upload them. Looked like a little rookie caught the dang old werewolf on Halloween. Talking to people who think differently is the best way to grow. Thank you. Thank you. That has been my premise this whole time. And what I've told people, a cool byproduct of doing this show is it's helped me become a better cop. In my own opinion, maybe some people don't think I am. You heard of Joe Cool. Joe Cool, Chicago. He bounces around Panelverse, Raging Tomato, Flow State. He's got some great 1A audit videos, and he is always willing to have a conversation. I heard you guys calling his name out, but I did not know who. I don't know who that is either. I'd have to see one of his videos. Tim said, cops complain to you about click and views because they hate you, that you are an honest cop and you call out their effed up behavior. Thank you, brother. Did you look into Siberian Tiger? Yes, I did. Holy shit. I've never heard anybody talk to a judge the way that he did. And the only way that you can get away with that is by being 100% right and not using personal language. And he did, and it was pretty impressive. The whole time I had anxiety for him because you don't know what the hell the judge is going to do. Even if you're 100% right, you never know what the judge is going to do. But apparently and I'll give the judge credit because the judge could have stood on ego and didn't. She stood on doing it right because she got called out, and he's like, yep, he's right about it. So, and she stood on that. So kudos to her. That's good. She didn't let her ego get in the way. Ghost said, this is about balancing wellness and professionalism, staying healthy, sharp, and ready to lead every day, AKA doing better. Yep. And full disclosure, I got my do better stuff, a little shtick from Joey Swole. Joey Swole. I love what he does for the gym culture. And he doesn't chastise, he educates, he calls out the behavior when he sees it. He calls out good behavior when he sees it. And I'm using the same formula. I didn't intentionally take that from him, but I used what he's doing for my own niche. Maybe a foreign cop. Someone tried arguing Someone tried arguing law with me, and I pulled out the term reasonable cause. He combined reasonable articulable suspicion and probable cause. I mean, it happens. A 30-year TV cop veteran makes sense. Right? He's not a cop. He played one on TV. He also stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. So he would know. You can't fight that. I keep telling my kids, this is from Ghost, I keep telling my kids, don't believe everything they see on those TV shows. The Don Dunpeel said, yes, Iberian Tiger is quite entertaining auditor. Yes, he is. DMA always tells cops do better. Who's DMA? DMA. I'm not, my brain isn't functioning on who that is, Key. Millennial cop joined. Ooh, that's a bold statement out there. Denver Metro audits. Oh, okay. You guys know so many auditors. It's crazy to me. There's so many out in the community for that stuff. It's nuts. Do you enjoy the chat just as much as the show? Join the Discord 24/7. Thank you, Marines Blood. Let's see if it shows up. I clicked it. There it is. Copy that. And just so you guys know, you can do a screenshot on your phone, and then there's a little window on the picture when you go to the picture that allows you to highlight text in a picture. So if you're like, well, I can't click on this link here. Yeah, just take a screenshot, go to your photos, click that little 3-line, it looks like a little piece of paper in the bottom right-hand corner if you got an iPhone like an adult, and then you go over there. Oh, young Jacob joined. Jacob Wirtz, my boy out there in Arizona. What's going on, Jacob? Wix Frank joined. What's up, Wix? Looking at my people on Instagram because Instagram's dwindling quickly. I got no more videos, so they're like, I'm out. Inland Audience Media in Washington State is great. I can tell you right now, there are types of auditors I won't watch because they drive me insane. The ones that are super confrontational, overly aggressive, just assholes. I won't watch them. Do I agree they have the right to do what they're doing? Yep. Do I have to like it? Nope. Do I think that they're doing more harm than good for their message? Yep. Look at the really, really popular ones and look at the quality of the following, like Long Island Audit, like, San Joaquin Valley. Look at the quality of the people that follow those guys. It's because they take the time, they educate, they're not overly aggro. I think that's why they get such a good following. But then you look at the ones that are super aggressive. They may have a huge following, but the engagement is just toxic. Just toxic. What do you think about these so-called audits of dispensaries? I support Leah and a few other auditors trying to get positive change, but the dispensary visits seem to be just pointless. I don't know what that is. You mean like weed dispensaries? I don't know. I've never seen an audit on a weed dispensary. I like how Marine Blood keeps raising his pay. Do you like the mods and want to support 4,000% pay raise? Donate here. Buy me a coffee. That is the goal, though, guys. The goal is to have a sustainable income for the show where we can pay our mods, where we can pay Matt and Banning and Alan and Deadleg and Trey. That's the idea. Right now, I'm just getting them equipment. That's the short-term goal. Deborah Bond said, I agree. I don't like the aggressive auditors. You can see they deliberately antagonize. Mayflower Kid said, yeah, it's a new trend now. Yeah, I don't like it. Or maybe he's talking about the dispensary. Yeah, weed stores indeed. I don't understand. How are you going to audit a weed store? I don't understand that. So the Don Dunpeel said, yeah, there's a few people who do those First Amendment Protection Agency almost exclusively stands on a sidewalk outside of a dispensary. Oh, do people not want other people knowing that they're getting weed? I guess maybe that's it. That's mostly Fappa Dong dispensaries. What? I feel like that's inappropriate. Whatever you just said, Andy Fletcher. Uncle Fatty, 4,000 times 0 still equals 0, yeah? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's what makes what we do so great. Everybody that's a part of what we do is volunteer so far. And my goal is to make it so it isn't volunteer for them. I want them to get paid to help further what I consider a good mission. That's why I do it. They take up a lot of their time to help do what they do, just because they believe in what they're doing. And I think that's valuable. I think there's value to that, and I think what we're doing holds value. So yes, if anybody out there wants to support us, you can join our YouTube channel, or you can do the buy me a coffee thing. That does help. And I know this was impromptu, so I don't blame anybody for not donating during an impromptu live. We have our go-to live stream on Monday nights at 9 p.m. That time could change. I am considering Sunday nights, but Monday nights just seem to work best. And I think weekends is very miss. Like, look right now. I mean, we've got 30-something people on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then we've got like 2 on Instagram. So not nearly as much as we normally have on our Monday nights. Deborah Bond said, some people don't want it known that they buy weed. Some, because of their jobs, it's not allowed if they are a federal employee. Oh, yeah, I guess I could get that. So what you're telling me is they're looking to create an interaction is really what they're doing. Yeah, I don't think I agree with that either. Yep. I'm going to go and just agree that I don't like that type of audit. Free said, I'm not crazy about bank audits either, just to look suspicious. I love Kansas City accountability. He has a quick wit, but not crazy about banks. Without the confrontational auditors, the low-key auditor would not be able to do what they do. The OGs mowed the field for all these new people. That's a good argument. That's fair. I don't think that's terrible. El Chivo said, I'm one of the 2 on Instagram. Thanks for the shout out. I love it. Hell yeah, brother. Anytime. You know, you think about it. For me, when I do these, if I can have a classroom size of people, I'm happy. And I think 20 to 30 people is a classroom size. So just the fact that we've got 30-something people right now. Oh, Instagram went dark. We got nobody on Instagram according to what it's showing me. Mayflower Kid said, I don't think pissing off the public is the best way to get public support. True. Uncle Fatty said, shit, I'm 2 minutes late. Have a great day, y'all. Be safe out there. Today is a great day to learn your neighbor's name. I like that. Now I have to speed to the weed store. The whole point of any audit is to get a cop interaction to see how they do. Free bongs for the first 50 in the door. No. It's about a person's rights and not the fake rights of businesses. So I will say that I have learned that some of these auditors are calling the cops on themselves. What do you guys think about that? Just like magnet fishers dumping stuff in the water and finding it like they authentically found it. I'm curious what you guys' thought is on that. How do you guys feel out there about First Amendment auditors calling the cops on themselves? I would say that that's wrong. Nah 1127 said, I'm learning a lesson that if you're privately in public, you have to create it. Millennial Potato said, your content is good and your conversations are well stated. This is the way. Hell yeah. I like the Star Wars theme. This is the way. I don't know if you guys can notice if it's showing up on camera, but my camera looks like it's just like back and forth. And I don't know why it's doing that. I hope my camera's not breaking. But that is bugging the shit out of me. Let me look at my Instagram. Somebody sent me a private message. Who sent me a private message? I don't see. Maybe it's under general. There it is. It was from Big Daddy. Let me pull it up here. We're going to pause it. We're going to share it. Somebody sent a video in. Always like that. Share. All right. We'll unmute it and we will play. The incorrect way to greet the police. This is at relentless.140 Instagram page. So shout out to them. Oh, shit. Dang it, Mr. Billfold. Oh! Oh, he's punching the car? Yeah, dang. He had a knife or a gun. I can't tell. He had some sort of weapon. Yeah, that's the definition of FAFO, man. You're not allowing the cop to get out of the car. You're hitting the window with a weapon. Pretty dumb. Not my style. I would have just drove down the road unless somebody was in imminent danger. I would have drove down the road and been like, all right, this dude's following me with a knife. I think sometimes officers force a situation that they don't need to force. I'm not saying he did that here. I don't know all the details, but watching that, I would agree with Mr. Billfold. That is not the way to greet the police. Mayflower Kid said, well, a real audit is to change policy and law and to protect constitutional rights, not this other bull. I agree. That is a good point for it. And I do agree that First Amendment audit stuff has created great police training. I've been firsthand witness to it. I believe it is a valid tactic if the officer says that they got a complaint. How is he going to enforce a complaint on someone who calls on them for themselves? Yeah, absolutely. Because now you don't have a victim of anything. Find out who the caller, and again, this goes into if cops are doing the job the right way. You're already trying to make contact with the complainant, because if the complainant can't articulate a crime, there's no reason to even make contact with an auditor. He said, wow, that was racist. It was racist, wasn't it? I look like a white boy saying that. Hard to tell in this little video, but people have said they feel uncomfortable about it. It's considered rude to welcome police with a pew-pew. It is. I don't know if he had a gun or if he had a knife, but whatever it was, he was beating on the window with it. Do you have body cam you want the guys to react to on stream? Join our Discord and share it in the body cam recommended channels. That is true. You can join our Discord. You can screenshot this right now, join our Discord, and share videos, and we will share them and talk about them. ID has look fake. The only word you can read, press. Look up Otto the Watchdog. Actually, I'm in talks with Otto. I have reached out to him. He is funny. I want to get Otto on. think Otto would be great. There's one where he's got like 4 different signs. He's on the corner. He's talking to a guy that is also a SWAT officer, and the other officer that comes out is also a SWAT officer, like part-time. And I was laughing. I thought what he was doing was hilarious, but he was right. And he was testing those cops like knowledge to the extreme, because I truly think they were figuring it out as they were going. They weren't sure. And that shows you the training. That is a training issue. That's not a cop knowingly violating the law because they have qualified immunity. It's not any of that. That's a training issue, guys. When I watched that, I can tell you 100% they weren't sure. They were like, fuck, I think I can enforce this. Like, maybe I can't. That was the body language I was getting from that. The auditors who call themselves are abusing their position and what they're trying to do as a whole. They're making a bad name for the rest. Yep. Welcome to police work, fuckers. That's what happens if bad police do bad shit. Nah, 1127 said, Otto is the man. Yeah, he's funny. He is a funny dude. I like his stuff. Trev Tattoo said, First Amendment auditors are setting the bait. Only dumb cops fall for it. Cops that understand the law have nothing to worry about. 100%. And if they're doing it the right way, they never have to make contact with the auditor. Now, talking to San Joaquin, he wants you to at least come up and say, like, hey, man, they called, but we know you didn't do anything wrong. So to other cops out there, give them that. Give them that, I guess. It's not that bad. Go up there and say, hey, they called. We're not doing anything about it. We know that this is a First Amendment right, so have a good day. You gave them a little bit of content to share of you doing your job the right way. So, Mike Cucumber, I kind of want to be a cop now. See? Yeah, Mike's drinking the Kool-Aid. Next thing you know, we're going to have Mike's going to be like, yeah, I Kool-Aid man the door the other day. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, if you guys got any more videos. And to my mods on, what the hell is it called? Discord, let me know if there's a video that I need to share on there. I'm looking at it right now. On the live stream chat. Trying to make this video just a little bigger so I can see more stuff. Yeah. Well, we're at 2 hours. We're a little over. Drop the two-party system said, how can LEOs not know about 1A? I learned that like second grade. Public education has gone downhill. Okay. Here's what I will say about knowing the amendments and knowing laws. You can know the law, but applying them to situations is a different skill. So having the freedom of speech, for instance, you've got the freedom of speech, right? But there's certain things you can't do. You can't, yell fire in a public setting like a train or a plane, in the courtroom, stuff like that. Or being in a court. You're not allowed to film if the judge says so. Like, it's knowing when they apply and when they don't. So yes, you can know the Constitution, but not know necessarily how to apply them. That's the challenge. And that's why we have the issues we have, because some people are good at it. Some aren't. Some learn it as they're going. They figure it out. They get better at it. Some people never get better at it because they never get challenged. They're enforcing it the wrong way because they think they're right. And then until somebody challenges that and shows them that they're wrong. That's what First Amendment auditors do. I think a lot of these cops think that they're right. Because I've had cops, like when I first learned about HIPAA, I didn't realize that HIPAA was the responsibility of the people with the HIPAA information. I thought that it was illegal for me to even try to take it. I didn't understand that law properly. And that's how this stuff's going. People they're incorrect in how they're applying the law or how they're looking at the Constitution. It's perspective. Sorry, I think I missed some comments over here. Let me go back. I put a good copy video in the Discord. A good cop video. Oh. Let me see. Oh my God, it's so loud. Let me try to share it over here in front of me. I will. Okay, let me share the screen. Freeman sent a video in. Share. Okay, let's watch this. I wish I had a way to turn the damn volume down in this video. It's destroying my eardrums. Sorry if it's too loud, y'all. Shout out to Newsner or whoever's trying to claim a publicly owned video for their own website. I love when people watermark a fucking public video. All right, I'm just going to say, if I noticed this, I would have pulled in front of it and come to a rolling stop with it. That's probably how I would have tried this one.
Come on. Hey.
Okay, rule to remember. If they're conscious and breathing, or if they're unconscious but breathing, you don't have to do chest compressions. But we can't tell here. So I'm going to say that this guy's unconscious and possibly not breathing. So chest compressions are the right way to go.
Hey. Slow rolling. Hey. Got the car stopped. Hey. Hey, stay with me. Hey. Hey. Wake up, sir.
This is the type of care and compassion that you want from your cops. I can hear it in his voice. I can hear that he cares. So yes, this is a great video. And according to the video, it saves his life. So yeah, I like that stuff. Thank you, Free. See, he knows. I like to. Somebody said, "Can you biggie size?" Where's Alan when you need it? I can't. Not when I do the vertical mode. Mike Cucumber said, "Eric, I'm a tax accountant, and I can tell you that I can tell you that I know very little about tax law. It is so vast that I could never know everything. I always keep an open mind to learn more." I like that. Acting like you know everything gets you in trouble. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's part of the problem with cops, I think. When we truly don't know, we pretend like we know. We fake it till we make it. And that can get us in trouble too. Tasker said, "It's a good video. If I heard what would happen, I would guess a cop mistook it as a DWI." Yeah, at first, but I mean, I would have figured out. He figured out that was a medical issue right away, because he called fire and EMS and even said, like, this guy looks like he's slumped over. Lacey said, "A rare occurrence." I disagree. I think this stuff happens all the time, just doesn't get shared. And one of the reasons I believe that is because I see it. I personally see it now in my position as a real-time crime center sergeant. I get to see a lot of cool videos of cops doing good shit. And they don't even know anybody's watching. They don't know that I'm watching. So it's pretty cool. I think a lot of it happens, but nobody. This is one of the things that we try to do with our show. We try to share more of this so you can get the feel goods, see that stuff, because it does happen more often than you're aware of. And just like some of the bad stuff happens more often than cops are aware of, especially this First Amendment audit stuff. It's funny that's kind of like the catalyst for a lot of our stuff is First Amendment audits. It's just so easy. It just happens so often. We're going to keep putting videos out until it stops, I guess. But yeah, this cop did a great job. And I love that you could hear the care. You could hear the care in his voice. It wasn't, he wasn't going through the motions. He wasn't saying a script. He was truly into it. So, one of my goals for this year, like I have goals with all of our social media stuff. Because if you're not growing, then you're doing something wrong. So we've continuously grown, like across all platforms. Everything keeps going up. Some really slow, like TikTok. I don't understand TikTok. Twitter. I really don't understand Twitter. We're at like 500 people. We've been there, and I've had it for almost 5 years I've been doing this. I just don't know how to grow Twitter. or X, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how to grow that. But everything's continuously went up. And my goal for YouTube and my goal for Instagram and Facebook were this. I wanted to get 20,000 people on our YouTube. I wanted to get 150,000 on our Facebook, and I wanted to get our Instagram up to 175,000. And from where they started, like I think we were at maybe 10 or 12,000 at the end of the year last year. So we are almost there. We're like less than 500 short on our YouTube. I think we're going to make it for the 20,000 there. So that's cool. That just shows what we're doing is working. I don't get obsessed with the numbers. That's not a thing for me. I get obsessed with, growth. Yeah. Are we growing? Because if we're not growing, again, it's a self-reflection moment. We're not doing the right thing, but we're growing. So I think we're doing the right thing. We're going to continue to do this. We're going to continue to listen to y'all's feedback and adjust and offer more live stream stuff so you guys can ask questions. We're doing our ego class this Monday. So that's what the live stream is going to be about Monday night. I'm going to have my buddy George Lopez on here, not the comedian. He's the one that developed the ego class that I've talked about. And what I hope to get out of that is while we sit down and discuss this ego course that he's created, you guys can have something to reference from now on to other people. Because what we're going to do is once the recording is over, once the live stream's done, we're going to go back. We're going to edit that down to a course that you guys can share with any department and be like, this is what your guys need. So when you see officers from your city or other cities that you think need to have it because they fell victim to their own ego, they can have a training course that's out there and available. We're not just talking the talk and preaching at people. We are showing you how to fix it. So, and we're not charging a dime. I'm going to put that shit out there for free because it's only going to improve police work across the board. So we're going to be doing that Monday night. So it's going to be pretty cool. This year is about over. Do you mean for next year? No. This is what we were trying to get for this year. We're almost at the 20,000 on YouTube. We are not even close on Instagram. Instagram, I think it's been at 150. It's at 152 right now, but we'll go up 5,000, but we'll drop 5,000. Like I don't know what Instagram does. It just kind of doesn't let us grow. So we're not going to hit the 175 with them. Facebook, we were at like 112, and we're almost to 150. I think we're like 8,000 short, something like that. So there's a chance we could be there. So we've hit all of our goals or we're pretty close to hitting all of our goals, except for Instagram. That's just not going to happen. I know that one's not going to happen. But yeah, we're doing the ego class, Monday night. So, X isn't growing, Marine Blood, because you didn't pay for the blue check mark. Yes, I did. When the blue check mark came out under X, I paid for it for a year. No growth. Nothing happened. So that's when I was like, well, it's not even worth paying for. I'll send the link to my sheriff's department so they can throw it in their junk folder. Control is the symptom of the ego. Well, you got to be fair. There is a level of control that you need to have on a police call. So, and there's a level of ego that you need to do police work. There's a level of, what's the word? A level of arrogance that you need to do police work, I think. Because you're interjecting yourself into people's problems, or you're interjecting yourself into somebody breaking a law and you got to hold them accountable. Like that takes a level of confidence. It takes a level of arrogance. It takes a level of ego. It takes all those things. It's just got to be controlled. It took a level of ego for me to think I could get online and do what I do on here. There had to be a level of ego for that. And a continued ego to think that what I'm doing is making a difference. But that gets, the ego to try to do this gets lowered and lowered the more you get the feedback from people like, we really like what you're doing. So yeah, absolutely. I think that police work does require a level of ego. You just got to recognize it. You can't let it emotionally hijack what you're doing. If it isn't sent by LEOs to LEOs, that's where it will go from Lacey. Yeah, I think that's the point. That's why we do what we do. And I'll call it out on videos occasionally. Hear me say, if you're not going to listen to these auditors, you're not going to listen to other people, perhaps you'll listen to another cop that's telling you. And I get it wrong sometimes. Like shit, I thought earlier that recording was a Supreme Court ruling. I was wrong. It was a circuit court ruling. My bad. I was wrong. It happens. Ego and confidence are two different things. Yes, ego and confidence are two different things. I agree. You still need both. But yeah, like Mike Cucumber said, it takes humility to continue. Agreed. Marine blood. Follow 2 Cops 1 Donut on X. I have no hope for X. I think there's some way. I think there's some way to keep X, to grow it. I just don't know what that is. And because I don't pay it a whole lot of attention, I literally, everything that I post on all the rest of the platforms, I post on Instagram. But I post on X, but I don't interact on X because I don't get any interaction. So maybe that's why. Maybe it requires a level of interaction I just don't have. All right, let's put it out here. If anybody wants to be a mod for my X, I don't even know if that allows you to do that, but if anybody wants to be a mod for our X that knows how to grow X, hit me up. Shoot a message to one of our Discord mods or to me, and we'll get it going. Because I don't even know why I continue to do it on X. It's not reaching anybody. It doesn't grow. And nobody interacts. I get like 3 people that interact. But, well, boys and girls, I need to make some videos. It's almost noon. So yeah, I need to make some videos and get those out there. So my algorithms will keep going the way I need to go. I asked Grok. It's all about the algorithm. Yeah, see? I have no algorithm on X. I think that's the problem. But hey, guys, thank you very much. Let me go over to Instagram real quick. I think I've been neglecting the comments over there. I really need somebody that can do this stuff with me. No, I didn't miss anything. Beautiful. I do need to figure out, Evan D. Evandro Toronto. Hi from Canada, Constable in De Oliveria. What's up, Canada? My old stomping grounds. I'm originally from Michigan, used to go into Windsor and Toronto all the time. Didn't even need a passport back in the day. But yeah, everybody in the chat, thank you for joining. This was impromptu. We had fun. Marine Blood said, we don't have any mods over there on X. Feel free to draft me. Lacey said, put 3-Eye Atlas in the title, Eric. Yeah, right. Instagram isn't important. I love my Instagram. You shut your mouth, sir. But yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us. Again, if you want to support us, like, subscribe, follow. That really does help us out a ton. Share us with somebody, get them to join on. If you really love what we're doing, again, go to the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, which Marine Blood will put in the chat, or go to our YouTube and support a membership there. All of that does help us out. I might have to replace a camera here soon because, as you can see, it is wobbling back and forth. And there's no earthquakes or anything going on. I don't know what the deal is. But all right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night. And see you Monday night for our live stream for the Eagle class. Take it easy.